Our mission at NAJA is focused on empowering you all, a critical network of journalists and media professionals representing members working in tribal, nonprofit, freelance, and mainstream media, in promoting accurate and ethical coverage of Indian country, supporting newsroom diversity, and defending challenges to free press, speech, and expression. Earlier this year, NAJA extended all current memberships through 2021 to help us stay connected to our members during the time they needed us most, in the midst of a global pandemic. Recognizing Indigenous journalism and storytelling is more important than ever to the communities we serve. The presidential election is less than a month away during a global pandemic and a census year. This critical moment in our history is also centered with the Black Lives Matter, Indigenous sovereignty, and racial justice movements happening across America. Access to accurate news and information is essential to an informed citizenry at the local, state, tribal, and national levels, and the work you're doing is critical to the media landscape. One of our strategic goals was to increase membership to 600, and I'm happy to report we surpassed that number earlier this year. NAJA currently has more than 700 members, including 8 new lifetime members, which is a milestone for the organization. Thank you for sticking with us as we navigate each new day and our first ever virtual National Native Media Awards. It's my pleasure to welcome our host for the evening, Downtown Darren Brown, and be the first to congratulate all of our 2020 awardees.
Good afternoon or good evening, depending on which time zone you're watching this from. I'm Darren Brown, and I'm your host for this 2020 virtual National Native Media Awards celebration. I'm so glad to see each and every one of you. I know we can't see each other physically, but I feel the positive vibes, so I think it's all good. It's been over a year since we have been able to be together, and I am going to be honest when I tell you that I miss you guys. I really, really do. I look forward to the conference every year, like I'm sure that most of you do. And so I'm so glad that you're here at this time. On behalf of the Native American Journalists Association, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of our members, presenters, and colleagues of all tonight's and today's recipients. We are here to celebrate the fantastic, great, tremendous, diverse journalism from all across Turtle Island. Our first award is a second-time winner across Indian country. Tribal media are often the only news outlets covering tribal stories, holding leaders accountable, and informing Indigenous communities about the stories that matter most to them. NAJA commends the Muskogee Creek Nation for enactment of the Independent Muskogee Creek Press Act. For Muskogee Media, the tribe's news and information outlet, the bill ensures free press protections at the legislative level, keeping coverage free from influence by the tribal government. The recent McGirt versus Oklahoma decision by the U.S. Supreme Court reaffirmed the tribe's reservation and underscores the importance of solidifying an enduring free press framework. In recognition of their effort to restore an independent press, NAJA is proud to honor the staff of Muskogee Media with a historic second Elias Boudinot Award for Free Press in 2020. NAJA previously gave the 2016 award to Muskogee Media for passage of the original Free Press Bill in 2015. Named for the first editor of the Cherokee Phoenix, the award recognizes a publication or media outlet that has shown dedication and commitment to upholding freedom of the press, information, and transparency in Indian country.
Muskogee Media would like to thank the Native American Journalists Association for awarding us the prestigious Elias Boudinot Award for Free Press for the second time. I'm Rita Courtright, and as the current managing editor, I would like to thank NAJA for all the support provided to our department through these arduous past 2 years. Muskogee Media was reinstated as an independent, statutory executive agency on July 23, 2020, after having free press repealed in November of 2018. This unanimous decision from the Muskogee Creek Nation National Council was immediately signed by Principal Chief David Hill. Muskogee Media would like to thank the National Council and the Principal Chief for their support of the return of free press. In the coming months, Muskogee Media will see immense growth with the guidance of a new editorial board. We will continue to provide fair and transparent reporting that adheres to the Society of Professional Journalists Code of Ethics. Through our reporting, Muskogee Media will do our part to maintain a well-informed Muskogee Creek citizenry. From myself, Muskogee Market, Creative, Radio, Vision, and News, Mado.
Congratulations to all the Muskogee Media staff who saw free press restored at the Muskogee Creek Nation. Cheers. Earlier this year, NAJA members elected Graham Lee Brewer of the Cherokee Nation, Jordan Bennett Begay of the Navajo Nation, and Polly Dennettclaw of the Navajo Nation to the NAJA Board of Directors during the first online-only election. The board elected 2020 through 2021 officers President Francine Compton, Vice President Lindsay Crable Burton, Treasurer Christine Trudeau, and Secretary Graham Lee Brewer. Tristan Atone, Avis Little Eagle, and Trip Krause will remain seated for the duration of their terms. Now let's welcome outgoing 19 and 20 NAJA Board President Tristan Atone, a citizen of the Kiowa Tribe of Oklahoma and the Editor-in-Chief of the Texas Observer.
Greetings and congratulations to all NAJA members, friends, allies, and family. Your work continues to innovate, educate, and inspire. It's hard to believe how quickly the time has passed. Just over a year ago, we were gathered together in Minnesota. This year's been a bit different, but I'm confident we'll see each other again next year in Phoenix. As outgoing NAJA Board President, I want to say thank you for your trust and support. It's been truly humbling to be working with you for the past 2 years, and I'm excited about our future direction. We continue to expand membership, fight for press freedom in Indigenous communities, and hold mainstream outlets accountable for their actions. And this wouldn't be possible without you. Our new NAJA president, Francine Compton, joins us from Winnipeg, and I am incredibly happy that Francine will be leading NAJA and continuing to support the critical work of Indigenous journalists across Turtle Island. Over to you, Madam President.
Anim, Sukweta Mukdishnikas. Hi, I'm Francine Compton. I am Anishinaabe, and I'm a citizen of Sandy Bay, Ojibwe First Nation. I'm honored to be the president of the Native American Journalists Association, and I want to start by thanking Tristan Atone. Thank you, Tristan, for welcoming me into the NAJA family. Thank you to the board members who elected me into this position and are trusting me to lead the organization over the next year. Thank you to our staff who put in so much hard work. And thank you to our members. We're here to represent you. And we represent currently over 700 members of NAJA. I want to see us expand. I want to see our membership grow. I want to see NAJA represent all Indigenous journalists and journalists reporting from our communities across Turtle Island. The same way we represent you, our members. We see you and we are here for you. Our ancestors never had journalists, and our youth need role models. And that's why I'm proud to be a member of NAJA. I am proud to be the president, and I am proud of the work that each one of us puts into this organization. I look forward to hopefully meeting all of you in 2021 in Phoenix. Kichimiigwech.
Thank you, Francine and Tristan. We'd also like to thank each of our funders for their continued support of NAJA's mission and our members across Turtle Island as we've made our way through 2020. Democracy Fund, Ford Foundation, Gannett Foundation, Google News Lab, John S. Knight Journalism Fellowships at Stanford, Knight Foundation, San Manuel Band of Mission Indians, Tegna Foundation, Walton Family Foundation. NAJA recognizes the challenges, the day-to-day challenges that its members face in covering this coronavirus. Not only covering it, but keeping themselves and their families safe as they continue to do their jobs. In response to that, NAJA created the Covering COVID-19 in Indian Country virtual roundtable series. It highlights strategies on how to report, best practices in reporting in Indigenous communities. and it has been expanded to cover health, justice, and investigative reporting. And all of those roundtable recordings are available free to newsrooms via the NAJA website under the Resources tab. Our next award is the 2020 NAJA Richard LaCourse Award for Investigative Journalism, which recognizes groundbreaking work by journalists that creatively use digital tools in the role of community watchdog. APTN Investigates is the first Indigenous investigative news program in Canada. The show offers viewers hard-hitting investigative reports and stories that change lives. When the team uncovered systemic abuse of Indigenous youth that led to an independent inquiry into police practices, their reporting uncovered a video that showed a Royal Canadian Mounted Police officer interrogating an Indigenous child in the care of the child welfare system about her reported sexual assault. Prior to the video's disclosure, APTN Investigates had been working with the alleged victim of the scheme to produce a series of stories that led to an external review of all sexual assault cases handled by the Kelowna RCMP detachment. That review revealed that under-investigated sexual assault cases in that area were 40% higher than the rest of Canada. More women and men have come forward since, hoping to educate the police. Accepting the 2020 NAJA Richard LaCourse Award for Investigative Journalism on behalf of APTN Investigates is video journalist Cullen Crozier.
I want to start by saying how deeply honored all of us at APTN Investigates are to receive the 2020 NAJA Richard LaCourse Award for Investigative Journalism. We'd like to thank the Native American Journalists Association for all the hard work they do in promoting the representation of Indigenous journalists in mainstream media from across Turtle Island. I feel that now more than ever, there's this renewed push and urgency in sharing our people's stories and histories. And I'm very honored to be a part of that resurgence. I share this award with my producers, Paul Barnsley and Holly Moore, as well as my fellow colleagues, Brittany Guillot, Kathleen Martins, Brittany Hobson, and Lori Hamlin. This story really was a team effort, and it was great to see all those pieces come together. Much of the credit for this award goes to my producer, Holly Moore. APTN Investigates didn't originally break this story, which originally focused on a BC social worker who was accused of embezzling millions of dollars from vulnerable Indigenous children in the child welfare system. Basically, Holly developed the story. She reached out to the victims, she built relationships, and started putting the pieces together for what would come later. Now, I primarily work as a video journalist for APTN Investigates, so I focus on producing, directing, writing, shooting, and editing documentaries for the network. And it's not always easy for me to stay on a story after it goes to air. I have to immediately switch gears and move on to the next one. And this is where the rest of my colleagues at APTN Investigates and APTN National News were able to keep this story alive. Their hard work led to us obtaining a video that showed a Kelowna RCMP officer aggressively interrogating an underage Indigenous sexual assault victim, Aiden Withers, the same woman at the center of my documentary, Broken Trust. That video and the subsequent work we did led to an external review of all the sexual assault cases from that handled by that Kelowna RCMP detachment, and offered a rare glimpse of the mistreatment of Indigenous women in Canada's criminal justice system. It's always kind of strange accepting these types of awards for reporting on the lives of others, people who've been through hell and still find the courage to stand up for what they feel is right. This story wouldn't really be possible without the bravery of Aiden Withers, the young Indigenous woman at the heart of Broken Trust and the RCMP interrogation video. Aiden found the courage to hold the justice system accountable for her mistreatment, and I was deeply honored that she trusted me with her story. So I reached out to Aiden. I thought it would be fitting to give her the last word, and this is what she had to say. The night after my mediation, I sat alone and cried. I cried relief, I cried sadness, and I cried at injustice. Discrimination and violence within our RCMP system is rampant throughout Canada. I've heard stories since coming public that would seem otherwise absolutely unbelievable, but the corruption in our police force has come to that level. It sounds so scary that it seems unreal. And that's why so many Indigenous women and people go without reporting, because they fear nobody will believe them, because Canada's justice system has showed them time and time again that they won't. And today I am done my court proceedings, yes, but what is left of me? Who am I behind all this trauma? I've never had the time to recover who that person is, and now in my adult life, I'm trying to discover that for myself. And this will last for generations in my blood. But because of my power and bravery, so will my changes. Launching an investigation into the child welfare system in Canada and into the RCMP is what is needed to help reconcile our relationship with Canada's First People. So again, on behalf of my colleagues at APTN Investigates and APTN National News, I'd like to say thank you. Masicho.
The Native American Journalism Fellowship is a program designed to recruit, mentor, and train Indigenous journalists to prepare them for a professional career and leadership within their communities. With COVID-19 in the mix, NAJA is hosting a virtual student newsroom in 2020, but these 3 talented Native students will still be working hard. Miranda Stiles from the Muskogee Creek Nation at Oklahoma State University. Kayla Duos from the Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe at Gonzaga University. And Michaela Sloan of the Cherokee Nation at Haskell Indian Nations University. We also want to mention those members who serve in the NAJA student newsroom and give freely of their time to help out these students. Our co-directors are Lindsay Crable-Burton and Frank Robertson, and mentors are myself and my brother from another mother, Frank Blanket of FNX. We will work with these students to provide multimedia coverage of Indian country to be broadcast on First Nations Experience. Earlier this year, NAJA created the Indigenous Voice Fund as a resource for Native journalists in all stages of their careers to support professional training and development opportunities. As the next iteration of the NAJA Pathways program, the fund will provide financial support to eligible NAJA members to broaden their leadership skills, industry impact, and ensure the professional capacity to seize any storytelling opportunities on any platform and at any media outlet. NAJA will release more information on the IVF application process soon. Programs like the Student Fellowship, scholarships, and the Indigenous Voice Fund are a launching pad for Indigenous talent and leadership within NAJA as well as Indian country. Recognizing our leaders and elders' contributions to the industry is another important part of NAJA's mission. Our next honoree is Lori Edmo, a citizen of the Shoshone-Bannock tribes, editor of the Shoban News, and the 2020 NAJA-Medill Milestone Achievement Award recipient. This award honors an individual who has made a lasting impact on media to the benefit of Indigenous communities and is given jointly by the Native American Journalists Association and the Medill School of Journalism, Media, and Integrated Marketing Communications at Northwestern University to celebrate responsible storytelling and journalism in Indian country. Edmo has worked as a Shoban news editor for more than 25 years and is a graduate of the University of Montana, where she earned a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism. She's a former NAJA president and served 10 years on the board of directors. Lori was a journalist in residence at the University of Idaho's School of Communication. While there, she worked on a Native journalism project titled Idaho Natives that upper-level journalism students published. She's also worked as copy editor for the Idaho State Journal, publications manager at the UCLA American Indian Studies Center, and communications coordinator at the museum at Warm Springs in Oregon. She became a storyteller because it's instilled in tribal culture. During the past 15 years, she's focused on learning more about her family history, culture, and the Bannock language. Lori also helps with tribal cultural events, specifically the annual Return of the Boise Valley People event that is conducted to help educate the public about the original people of the valley and tribal ancestors. Please give a virtual cheer for Lori Edmo, the 2020 NAJA-Medill Milestone Achievement Award winner.
Bishayu Taviyu Inania Huziva Kasa Nana Kesley Edmo Sr., Nabia Maxine Racehorse Edmo. Good day. My Bannock name is Birdwing, and my parents are the late Kesley Edmo Sr. and the late Maxine Racehorse Edmo. And it's because of them that I've come to do this work, and because of what I've learned growing up with them, as they were both tribal leaders. And it was because of their vision and their desire to protect our land and our natural resources for the future generations that I decided to become a journalist to tell the stories of our tribal people. And it's truly an honor to be able to do that because, it's because of them that we're able to work for the newspaper, and because every one of our tribal people have a vested interest in the newspaper and they own it. So they're our bosses. So the work that we do to tell about our history, our culture, and the current events happening within our community is really a tribute to them. And this honor that I've received is all about them, and also our Chauvin News staff who we've taught, to do their work. And it's because of them that I'm able to do the work that I do, because they really excel on everything they do. So I would really like to thank the Native American Journalists Association Board of Directors and the membership, because, I've been in NAJA, I'm a lifetime member, and I really believe in the organization, and I served on the board for over 10 years. And to me, the work NAJA does is really beneficial, and, it needs to continue. And I also want to thank the Medill School of Journalism, because this award is amazing, because to be able to be recognized for your work and doing something you love is really important. And to me, it's going to stick with me forever, because, it's not often you get recognized for the work that you do. And to me, it's really heartfelt. And I just really am thankful for the honor. And I thank our Creator for the blessings that He's bestowed upon me to do the work, and also for the guidance and clarity that He provides through the prayer that I'm constantly doing, because this work, it can be difficult at times, but it can also be very rewarding.
Congratulations, and thanks again to Lori and Medill. Earlier this week, NAJA published the Tribal Nations Fact Book, a reporting guide for covering Native American communities in coordination with Indigenous Peoples Day 2020. As part of its mission, NAJA recognizes Indigenous people as distinct and grounded in tradition and culture. In this spirit, NAJA encourages both mainstream and tribal media to attain the highest standards of professionalism, ethics, and responsibility when reporting Indigenous stories. The Tribal Nations Fact Book will help reporters meet those standards by providing a context checklist to consider when covering Indian country. No two tribal nations are the same, and reporting on them effectively requires an understanding of the government, economy, geography, treaties, people, and culture. Additional reporting resources are available to aid immediate coverage of Indigenous Peoples Day, Native American Heritage Month, and anytime at naja.com. Now we'd like to recognize those people who do the important work every day. Our 2020 National Native Media Award division winners. This year, NAJA received just under 600 entries and selected winners from 83 categories. Now, we've put together a small sample of some of the best multimedia work done in Indian country this year. We hope you enjoy taking a look back at some of the work that you did in 2019.
look at this is power lines all the way down there. Nobody living here.
Living in paradise comes with a cost. Hudgens doesn't have running water, but she does have access to something that 15,000 Navajo Nation families are still waiting for: electricity.
Great to have it. Instead of going town and get the kerosene and all that for the light, all I do is switch, and so the light comes on.
And with that one switch, Hudgens takes a step toward the future of this nation.
Lies.
Shocked. Controversial.
Hope he gets out of it.
The reactions to the impeachment hearings are across the board.
He's just trying to help this American people, I guess.
The history repeating itself is all I can say about it.
Many presidents have faced impeachment threats, but only two, Andrew Johnson and Bill Clinton, have been formally impeached by Congress. DNA College's Michael Lerma says it's hard to know what residents of the Navajo Nation think about the impeachment inquiry into President Trump.
We don't know what the Navajo citizens really believe in terms of all this.
In the process of conducting the recount, one of the absentee ballot boxes was found to be sealed with tape that had not had its serial number logged. When this box was unsealed, 2 broken pieces of sealing tape were found inside, indicating that the box had been sealed. Then that seal had been broken and the box resealed. The election board could not account for the box being opened and resealed. This led to the Supreme Court ordering that the primary election be deemed null and void, and that the election board schedule a new primary election for all offices to take place within 60 days.
The allegations are disturbingly familiar. Indigenous children abused, raped, tortured, all while attending school here in Duck Bay, Manitoba. The old 4-room schoolhouse has long since been torn down, but for the students who attend it, its memory still casts a dark shadow over the community.
Either abused physically, mentally, sexually.
About a 5-year period, I kept track, and in those 5 years, we had 80 children. But we have been fostering for over 20 years, so 80 plus would be the number I use. In the 5 years that we had the 80 children, approximately 80% of those children were newborns that tested positive for drugs.
There are so many children in foster care because of drug addiction. And when it's happening, when those babies are inside, they get a legacy they don't deserve.
Dorothy asked her not to take her own life like her friend did.
I said to her, I said, promise me, don't ever do that to me. Don't ever do it to me. I said, because it's going to be so painful.
Sadly, last week, 10-year-old Jaylin did take her own life.
I want to know why. Like, why did she do this? What were her reasons behind doing this to herself?
Even with her recent tragedy, Angus, a teacher at the band school who knows most of the kids in the community, is speaking up because she wants the suicides to stop.
Hall says tribal citizens across Fort Berthold are concerned that the drilling for oil and gas in their communities is polluting the land, air, and water.
And this is what we depend on for our drinking water, so that when you lift up a glass of water, you hope that it's safe to drink and it doesn't have toxins. Somehow the priorities got shifted, so the industrial was down here and the households were up here. Now it's completely opposite. Big oil has moved everything and the tribal council has followed that, and the households have moved down here. So we're not the priority.
So it's 10 years on it, and you're still searching. You're still searching these streets.
Yep. Still looking.
Across the United States, Indigenous families are searching for their loved ones, for closure.
We would tell each other, what do you think she said? What was her last words, Did she cry for help, or did she pray? Did she shout, I love you, to anybody?
2020 has been a year unlike any other in NAJA history, and we congratulate all of our winners on their accomplishments despite the challenges they were presented with this past year. On behalf of the NAJA family, we love to say the warmest and best congratulations to each and every one of you. In the meantime, here is a video of some happenings from the 2019 National Native Media Conference in Prior Lake, Minnesota. Did anyone else have a great time? I did. I think some of you know that I did. And I cannot wait. I sincerely cannot wait to see you again. So, stay safe. Oh, man. Stay safe. Keep up the good work. Keep on going and keep the good vibes flowing. And fingers crossed, toes crossed, I will see you again soon in Phoenix. Take care.
To be a part of an organization like NAJA, it really does feel like a family. One of my favorite things about the conference every year is just not only knowing that I'm going to learn something new, but I'm going to see these people who are now and have been for the last several years my people, regardless of what their tribal affiliation is.
NAJA has been such an amazing community to be a part of, and such a great support network. NAJA has always been a place where I've been able to come and reconnect with other Indigenous reporters, hear what people are working on, hear the struggles that people are going through, hear the successes that they're having, engage and learn and connect with people.
You're running a business, right? And your business is telling stories and your clients are editors. You really kind of have to think of it that way.
We need to let people understand what free press means.
There are discussions happening here that you can't get anywhere else.
It's a great cross-section between young and old and people doing new things.
What NAJA is doing for young Indigenous journalists is exceptional, and it's not being done anywhere else in the world.
I started as a student, and so it really helped me with scholarships.
If any of you are thinking about grad school, please do reach out to me if you think that there's any way we might partner. We'd love to support you.
Any NAJA student that wants a paid internship while on campus, we're happy to work that out.
My first job right out of college, I really credit NAJA for helping with that.
The Native American Journalists Association conference is all about networking.
We are very interested in covering Native issues at NPR. Take a card of mine, I can connect you to the bureau chief in your region.
Why would you not want to join NAJA? Why do you want to be isolated?
Without NAJA, yeah, I'm not sure where my career would be.
There's no way I would be doing what I'm doing today if it wasn't for NAJA. The opportunities the organization put in front of me, the hands-on training, and not only that, but just the connections you make, the family that you build here, it's life-changing.
When I first started coming to NAJA, it was such a relief to see other Native people who did what I did, because it was only at NAJA conferences really that I got an opportunity to meet and network with other Native journalists.
And we didn't know each other existed until we came together. And then we became friends and we worked together. And then we'd leave for a year and then we'd come back together. and always reinforcing with each other, you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job for our people.
You're not just joining an organization, you're making family, friends for the rest of your life.
Everything she said. Times 2.